It's been a week since our newest character, Dr. Ratio, a new Hunt DPS has came out, and this also meant one thing. Zila is getting power crept again. Now I can go on and on Dr. Ratio for Zila, but I mean that topic is kind of boring. So I decided to grab every single Hunt character in the game and make them fight to the death in a series of challenges to see which ones are at the top and which ones are at the bottom. My name is BS Bolian, and welcome to the Hunt Olympics. Since everyone is in a tournament to test your strength, every single tournament needs some rules. The rules are really simple. Each character will be tested in a variety test at E0. Depending on their placement on the test, they will get points from this scale. Damage will be part of the test because of relics, and traces will be level 10. The characters with the most points win, and last of all, just, have fun. That's the rule. I also want to address one thing. Just because they don't have any points doesn't mean they're bad. Just because they have a lot of points doesn't mean they're good. Some characters thrive in other areas more than others, so don't think they're the best because of it. Now, since we got the rules out of the way and all of our contestants are ready to battle, let's start with our Olympics. The one target test. This test is purely how fast can they kill a single enemy. In 6th place, we have Sushang. Sushang isn't a bad character and is actually better than other characters, so why is she this low? And the reason is she kinda needs to break. Her skill is heavily reliant on luck, and you need to break to make it guaranteed to do damage. And since her ultimate costs a whopping 120 and she only gets 30, this puts her at last place. Number 5 is Dan Heng. Dan Heng is kind of a weird spot because Sushang and Dan Heng is really close, but Dan Heng is just slightly better. And the reason is that he reduces their speed by 12 while gaining speed by 20 with his A4 trace. There's also a minor improvement, which is his traces are better than Sushang's and his ultimate costs less. You can argue that Sushang can be better than Dan Heng, but in my opinion, I think Dan Heng just takes the spot. Number 4, Yanqing. Yanqing without his talent will be all the way in the bottom of the list. For the sake of drama in this video, I'll be including his talent for all of the tests. That being said, his talent is really busted. His crit rate increases by 20, his crit damage increases by 30, and he has a 60% chance to do a follow-up attack. Although it doesn't do a lot of damage, it will help him break, which is crucial for an ice character because they freeze. And on top of that, Yanqing's ultimate increases his crit rate by a whopping 60%, which means he's never not critting. But since he loses his talent after he gets hit or takes damage, I think he deserves this spot in 4th place. Starting the top 3, we got Topaz. To know how she's good, you need to know how her talent works. Her talent is basically a second character called Numby. Numby has a base speed of 80 and gets it increased by every single follow attack. And since her skill and basic attack are both considered follow attacks, that means Numby gets his speed increased every single time. Not only that, but Numby can get his damage increased with her ultimate, which at talent level 10 can increase Numby's damage by 150% and crit damage by 25. Well then, congratulations to Numby, I mean Topaz, because she's the first person to get a point. Next character we have is Zila. All the power creeping jokes aside, Zila is an amazing character. When Zila activates her skill, she increases her speed by 25 for 2 turns, and no, it does not stack. But the main reason why Zila is so good up to this day is her talent Resurgence. Resurgence's ability is really simple. She can swap between a buff state and a normal state. When she's in the buff state, her damage increases by 80%. And on top of that, with her A4 trace, she can go through 20% constant resistance. And that alone makes her second. But I think there's one more character that's better than Zila, and that is Dr. Ratio. Most of Dr. Ratio's damage comes from his talent, which has a 40% chance to do a follow attack and increases with every debuff the enemy has. But let's not talk about his Ascension Traces, which I think he has the most broken Ascension Traces in the game. Like, what even is this? And on the cherry on top, his technique decreases speed by 15% for 2 turns, which solidifies his spot in first place. Woo! We are finally done our first test, but don't worry, we're gonna get through the rest really quickly. The multi-target test. This test tests their strength on killing multiple targets instead of one. In last place, we have Dan Heng. Dan Heng just has nothing going for him to deal damage to multiple targets. I mean, Dan Heng just gets outclassed by every other character. In 5th place, we got Yanqing. Yanqing is kind of in the same boat as Dan Heng, and in that case, he has no way to deal damage to other characters. And he actually gets worse with every other character because his talent deactivates if he gets hit, and if there's 5 people, that means he'll be getting hit a lot. Yanqing unfortunately gets outclassed too. Next we have is Su Shang. Su Shang does slightly better than the other two, and that's because of one reason. Remember when I said breaking is crucial for damage? Yeah, it's really easier to break on small targets like the robots or the birds. With this reason, I think she's slightly better than the other two on multiple targets. Coming in the top 3, we have Dr. Ratio. The reason why Dr. Ratio is actually this low is because of one reason, and is that he needs to stack debuffs on one target to have his percentage go up. Because if he doesn't, he's hitting 40% chances on every target, which is not ideal. In 2nd place, we got Topaz. She deserves the spot, truly, because, I mean, it's 2 characters in one. I mean, Topaz is effectively 2 characters, so having 2 characters deal with multiple targets is kind of easier than 1. However, she's not getting 1st place because of it. In 1st place, we got Zilla. Zilla is amazing at dealing with multiple targets. And it's because, yes, you guessed it, Resurgence. Making her grow twice is just kind of essential. And it's kind of ironic because she's supposed to nuke one target, but is the best at multiple. With this reason, I think she sits comfortably in 1st place. The technique test. This test is who has the best technique, in my opinion. Last place, we got Su Shang. Her technique doesn't do a lot, and it doesn't help her either, which, in my opinion, is just this technique sucks. Just don't use it. If there's something better, just use something else. In 5th place, we have Dan Heng. Dan Heng's technique increases his attack by 40%, which is slightly better than Su Shang's in my opinion, so I'll put it higher. But I don't think it's worth her techniques. Next, we got Yanqing. Yanqing's technique increases damage by 30 for people that have 50% HP and higher, which is good in early and boss fights, and since damage is better than attack, I think he deserves the spot. Coming in the top 3, we got Dr. Ratio. Dr. Ratio's talent taunts them, which basically means that they don't attack you, and decreases their speed by 15%, and since speed is a very good stat in Honkai Star Rail, decreasing it is crucial. I think this technique honestly deserves top 3. In 2nd place, we have Zilla. Zilla's technique alone is not that great. I mean, stealth is nice and all, but you can just dodge. But the best part about her technique is when she goes into a battle, she starts in her buff state, which is really good because you want a kill to start with so she can get a resurgence. Overall, this technique is really good. In 1st place, we have Topaz. This technique is really good, and it's because, I mean, first of all, look how much we have to read. Secondly, it finds the nearest treasure, it regenerates 60 energy, and gives you 10,000 extra credit. Not even mentioning about the Simulated Universe buffs. The typing test. This test is how many bosses are weak to the character the most. In last place, an unfortunate last place, is Zilla. There's only 10 bosses that are weak to Quantum. Next we have a tie between Dan Heng and Topaz. Wind and Fire has 12 bosses that are weak to them. We have another tie between Dr. Ratio and Su Shang, which both have 14. And surprisingly, in first place is Yanqing with 15 characters that are weak to ice. The skill point test. This test is if they're SP positive or negative in 3 turns. Zilla's attack pattern goes double skill into another double skill at full potential. This means that Zilla is -6 in the skill point chart and is definitely last place. So the next characters are kind of weird because at full potential, we have a 4-way tie between Dr. Ratio, Su Shang, Dan Heng, and Yanqing. All 3 of these are skill point heavy and they go triple skill each time. This means that they are -3 in the skill point chart and is actually surprisingly in second. In first place, we have Topaz. Topaz would be in a tie with those 4, but she can go skill basic basic, or if you need to switch targets, you can go skill basic skill, and she won't lose that much value from her attacks, which means she is -1 or +1, which puts her at first place. Break potential test. This test is how much break can they knock down in 1 cycle. Oh, and the mighty have fallen, because the last place is Topaz. Topaz can only take out 120. Next we got a tie between Su Shang and Dan Heng, which can only take out 150. Next we got another tie between Yanqing and Dr. Ratio, which can take out 180, because they have a follow attack. But in first place, we have Zilla. Zilla can take out a total of 270 just in 1 cycle. I think that justifies her in first place. A sad moment for Dan Heng, because he is in last place. I mean, he just gets outclassed by every other character, and he only got a -2. Hopefully he can redeem himself with IL. Next place, we got Su Shang. And she is a good character and all, but unfortunately, she only got 0 points, and is in 5th place. We have a tie for 3rd place, and it is Zilla and Yanqing. Both of them are good characters, but I feel like Zilla is slightly better. But both of these characters got a 6. A bronze medal is not bad. In 2nd place, we have the tax collector, Topaz. Individually, she is not bad, but I feel like she's a great character in a team. She gets total points of 7 and sits in 2nd place. And the winner of the Hunt Olympics is none other than Dr. Ratio. The fact that this character was free is amazing to me. He gets a total score of 11 and is the winner of the Hunt Olympics.